Are you one of the 75% of contractors whose financial statements are inaccurate? Find out. Click on the link in the show notes and you'll get a free P&L and balance sheet check.
This is Contractor Sense with Ruth King.
Welcome to Contractor Sense. Here you discover ideas, tactics, news, and information that matters to your contracting business and you. I'm your host, Ruth King. This episode is sponsored by Financially Fit Business. Get the business tool that makes your financial statements come alive and helps you grow profitably, build wealth, and significantly impact your life and the lives of your employees. Go to www.financiallyfit.business and get started today. Thank you for joining us. Here is how we will help your business and you. How do you find skilled labor? What if you found a source where you experienced a 90% success rate in finding that labor? What would it do to your business? My guest, Paul Sanneman, is the founder and CEO of Contractor Staffing Source. He'll explain how you can achieve a 90% success rate in finding labor too. Paul, welcome to Contractor Sense.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So how did you get into this?
Well, Ruth, I've been around. I've been a coach for contractors for 50 years. That makes me an old guy, right? And I
Yeah.
literally worked with a couple thousand contractors. And what happened a couple of years ago was I could keep, because I'm good at market, I could take businesses from, a million to 10, 20 million. I did it a bunch. But the problem is you can't build a business without employees. So
Yeah.
my first idea was, well, I'm going to get this really cool tech stack. So I found good, assessments, good applicant tracking systems. And so I gave this tech stack to my contractors who totally messed it up. They didn't have time to do it, right? So that didn't work. So I put a guy in my garage and I said, okay, I want you to use this tech stack to help my coaching clients, which are all contractors, find employees. Fast forward to today, we have 35 people on the team. We run, I think, 300 to 400 job ads a day. We go through 6,000 to 7,000 resumes a week. We've hired over 3,000 people. We had to go through 500,000 resumes to find them. So I think we figured out how to do this.
I would hope
It's a
so
while.
by that many.
Took us a while. We've got a 90% success rate. So we figured out how to pull this off. And whether you do it yourself or have us do it, you can't, there's a way that works, and most people don't actually do that.
Okay. So you did it a lot by trial and error and figuring it all out from there, correct?
That is true. I have made my share of mistakes.
I think we all have. You're not the only one. So, I mean, what are the beliefs that you have found, in this whole process of doing it?
Well, I've worked with contractors for 50 years. I've literally worked with over 2,000. I have some stupid number of hours, like 200,000 hours doing this. So I figured out something. I'm a slow learner, but I figured it out. So a lot of contractors have beliefs, and these beliefs get in the way of them finding good people. I'm going to go over that. They're pretty simple. The first belief is only recruit when you need somebody. Um, that's out there. I fight that with I've got about 300 clients and only, I think half of them are annual. They think, well, only recruit when you need somebody. That is the belief, right? The reality is you need to always be recruiting
Yeah.
because you never know who's out there. I mean, people think, well, I'll recruit for this new project manager when I need them. The chance of that project manager wanting to quit his job at the same day you want to hire him is between 0 and none, right? It doesn't ever happen. So that's where they go, I can't find a guy. Well, you're not looking when he's looking. It's just not going to happen. The second thing that gets in the way is employees are expensive. Ruth, you probably know you can't make money without employees, really not much money, right? And
Well,
so,
the reality of it is that in our industry, the only way we generate revenue is through billable labor, period.
right.
No
And the thing is,
labor, no bills.
the more employees you have, if they're all making you money, the more money you make. How hard is that to figure out, right?
Hmm.
So, I've talked a lot. Well, I'll hire my project manager when I get that big project. Good luck with that. Because then what you do is you make the big mistake of, hiring somebody just because you need them, not because they're the right person. So about the best investment you're ever going to make is employees. And you probably know, Ruth, it's much easier to get a contractor to spend money on a tractor or a backhoe or something that you can physically see versus employees because he figures, well, I can always sell the backhoe if, I don't use it. So That's a myth. You got to get over that one. The next one, this is the hardest one of the hardest ones, is we can do it ourselves. How hard is this to do, right, Ruth? You put an ad in Indeed, you get some people to apply, and you're done. Well, it doesn't work that way. Hey, Ruth, do you fix your own car?
Of course not.
Obviously, and most contractors, they don't do their own electrical, they don't do their own plumbing, they don't do their own accounting. Why do you think you can magically be a great recruiter? It's a skill set, right? And they think they can do it themselves, and it's a big mistake. I suggest you get, I mean, we do it pretty reasonably. I can do for like $1,500 a month for like 5 positions, but get somebody else to do it that knows what they're doing. At least get a good applicant tracking system to keep track of stuff. But the idea of throwing an ad in Indeed and finding the right guy is not too good. So
No,
you need
yeah.
to outsource it. The
Well, not
next
only outside. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go.
Go ahead, Ruth. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, not only do you have to understand that, the likelihood of you finding somebody good on Indeed, and if that's the only thing you're using, is probably slim.
No, it's not that good. And the next one is um, people get stuck. Oh, they have to have construction experience. Well, for some positions, maybe. If some guy's building, a $5 million house, sure. But if you're hiring an office manager, I don't think so. Or a selections coordinator. I mean, the pandemic really opened our eyes because we hired a lot of people that were wedding planners. Now, think about that, Ruth. What does a wedding planner have to do? A wedding planner has to get the band, the venue, the flower person, all these semi-reliable subcontractors together at the right place to do a good job, and everybody has to be happy. Doesn't that sound like a remodel to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the skill set's the same. You can teach in construction, that's a no-brainer. So hire a person who's the right person, not a person necessarily knows construction.
Yeah,
And the next one,
wait,
go ahead.
before you get there, let me make a comment. One of the best dispatchers that we have, who works for one of my clients, used to manage all of the music and concerts and things along those lines in the live venues. You think he could handle stress?
Yeah, absolutely. So, who they are is much more important than what they know.
Hmm.
Um, the next one, and this gets in a lot of trouble, is people think they should hire fast and fire slow. They hire fast because they're desperate because they're not recruiting all the time. And they fire slow because they don't want the emotional pain of letting someone go. And I always ask my clients this: is there anybody who's working in your company right now that if you started your company over, that you wouldn't rehire? Anybody that you wouldn't rehire, you should fire. And I know everybody listening to this podcast has somebody in mind, right? Well, trust me, you should fire that person because they're costing you more than you can possibly imagine. You spend years building up the right culture. One person can destroy it.
Yep, absolutely.
So
So before we take a break, which we need to do, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how do they do it?
go to contractorstaffingsource.com and
Contractorstaffingsource.com.
book an appointment with me. I'll be happy to talk to them.
Very good. We'll be right back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense.
Imagine you had total freedom. You didn't have to worry about money. You didn't have to be a slave to your business. The words, I can't, are eliminated from your vocabulary. What if you could do what you want to do, whenever you want to do it? A financially fit business could give you that freedom. How? By knowing what your financial statements are telling you and taking action based on what they say. You can do this in less than 10 minutes a month at an investment of less than taking your family out to dinner once a month. And if your financial statements are a mess, you can get help. Go to www.financiallyfit.business or click on the QR code below to get started today.
We're back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense. I'm talking with Paul Sanneman, who is the CEO and founder of Contractor Staffing Source. And before the break, we started talking about some of the beliefs that you shouldn't have. And there's one more, right, Paul?
There's one more. And I say, Ruth, if you're a hammer, everything's a nail, right? So contractors see everything as a project. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. They take the same mindset and they put it on recruiting. They go, oh, I need a project manager. I got to put an ad in. I find the guy and I quit. Recruiting is not a project. It is a process. It's much like accounting or marketing. If you're always marketing and have great clients, and you're always recruiting and have great employees, this is an easy industry. But if you have either poor clients or poor employees, it's really difficult.
Okay.
So now I'm going to go into everything we do. This is how to do it. This is what took me 7 years to figure out. So I'm going to tell you how to find the ideal employee. Okay, this always works, but you can't skip any step.
Okay.
You ready?
Ready.
First one, write a job ad. It's an ad. It is not a description. Keep in mind, you've got to get somebody to quit their job and come to work for you. You don't want to hire anybody who's not currently employed. So you've got to write an ad that will do that. I suggest you use ChatGPT or AI. It's probably better at it than you are. So you've got to write a killer job ad that gets somebody to quit their job and come to work for you. Next, using AI for this one too. Post your job ad everywhere. We posted on 100 job boards plus LinkedIn. We posted like 200 places when we post a job ad. You can't skip any place. You can use AI this for too. Just go to ChatGPT and say, where are all the places I should put this ad? And it will tell you. This is the one that's going to kill you, Ruth, that people actually can't pull off. Respond in real time. So it takes us 10 seconds to get back to the average of applicant. All right. And most contractors put an ad in Indeed and they call a person back a week later. They're gone, right? It's speed to lead. That's why a service like us is really useful, because we literally respond to 7,000 people in real time. So that's because we got a bunch of people doing this all the time. So
Yeah.
respond in real time. If you don't, it's not going to be effective. The next one, detailed skills and behavioral assessment. We've got one that's really good. There's a bunch out there. You can disc profiles. There's a bunch of stuff you can use. Make sure you do an awesome skills assessment. I mean, I don't know where about your mom you take this thing, Ruth. They're amazing. So make sure you do a really good skills assessment. Next, initial phone screening and video interview. What we do is we video interview everybody. There's programs out there to do that. Our ATS does that, our applicant tracking system. We do a video interview and ask them all the questions you need to really know before you even talk to them. So by this time, you know who they are by the assessment. You know who they are by the video interview, which finds out anything you can't find out in the assessment. Then you do an in-person interview, either a Zoom interview or something, but you got to talk to the person in person. Next, you do a background check. Ruth, I had a person who hired a bookkeeper who embezzled him. When he went to the DA and tried to get him a prosecutor, he found out she embezzled her last employer. I mean, come on, how smart is that, right? So you've got to do a background check. Call the references. We always call all the references, okay? That you can't call the references. Next, you have to make a competitive job offer, because you can't get somebody to quit their job and come to work for you unless you're making a better job offer. This is a problem for some people because their salaries aren't current, right? So what happens is you're going to go hire a project manager and you kind of find you got to pay him more than you're paying the project manager with you 5 years because your salaries aren't current. So be sure before you go out there that you're up with the current price of that position. Otherwise, you won't be able to find the guy, because again, he has to quit a job or she has to quit her job to come work for you. The last one is ensure a successful onboarding experience. This is crucial, because when someone quits their job and comes to work for you, it is really, really important that when they go home on that first day and talk to their spouse, they go, "Hi, honey, this is the best decision I've ever made," versus, "I'm not sure, I might have made a mistake too. This could be a big mistake." That is terrible. So you got to ensure an onboarding experience. So I'll run through them really, really quickly again. You got to write a killer job ad. You have to post a job ad everywhere. It's at least 100 or 200 places. You got to respond in real time. That's 10 seconds, not 10 days. You've got a detailed assessment. There's a bunch out there. You've got a video interview. So you find out what you can't find on the assessments. You do Zoom interviews or in person. You conduct background checks. You call references, make a competitive job offer, and you ensure a successful onboarding experience. Ruth, you can't skip any of these.
No,
You have to
absolutely
do
not.
them all.
So have you found where somebody accepts a job offer and then their existing employer gives them a raise and tries to keep them?
It happens all the time.
Okay.
And the other thing is, you've ever heard of raise by blackmail? This is why you're always recruiting. Somebody comes into you and says, "It's not me, it's my spouse. if I don't get $5 more an hour, I'm going to have to quit. I know we just started this big, huge project. You need me, but I haven't got any choice. It's called raised by blackmail. Happens all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it all the time. It's like, somebody says they're going to come work for you, and then their existing boss offers them probably what they should be making. As you said, you have to have competitive wages, and they probably weren't. And that's why they
Right.
were looking.
That's true. And so the key is people try to skip these. They say, well, can I just not respond in real time? Or can I skip the assessments? You can't. I mean, why do we have a 90% success rate? Because we do all this stuff. And if you can't do all this stuff, if you can't afford to buy your own ATS, which is like $300 or $400 a month at least, and have somebody who works on it every day for 2 or 3 hours, then hire somebody who has to do it for you. I mean, we're like $2,000, $1,500 a month. We can do everything. It just doesn't make sense because the most important thing you have is your team.
Absolutely. Because there is no revenue that gets generated, period.
Right.
So from there.
Go ahead.
So when somebody starts working with you, what's the process like?
Well, when they start working with us, they get 4 people on their team. They get a pipeline scanner. They get a applicant, a person that screens the applicants called the account manager. They have an assistant, and they get a special that meets with them every week. So 4 people on their team. We do an onboarding session so we can learn the values of the company, what they care and don't care about. Then we hook up all their software like LinkedIn, Indeed. We hook all the software up to our software so everything's automated. Then they meet with our person every week. And one thing I should probably mention is you've got to go through 300 people to find the person. That's just reality. And because it's so easy to apply these days. And what happens is people think, oh, I can, I'll have 10 or 20 people apply. It doesn't work that way. We've hired 3,000 people, went through 500,000 resumes.
Yeah, I mean,
just what it takes.
Yep, and everybody, and they don't show up for appointments. I mean, it's incredibly interesting these days.
That's true.
So, all right, give everybody your website again if somebody wants to contact you.
Yeah, it's contractorstaffingsource.com.
Very good. Paul, thanks so much for being with me.
I appreciate you having me, Ruth. And, people listening to this podcast, there is no labor shortage. If you have one, it's your fault.
Okay, I'll remember that. Thank you for joining us. Choose one thing that you discovered and implement it in your business. These ideas, tactics, and strategies help you make more money, have more free time, and give back. If you like today's program, spread the word. Please review this podcast on any device you're listening to it on. Help a fellow contractor make more money too. For comments or questions, call me at 770-729-0258 or email Ruth King at hvacchannel.tv. Thanks for listening. Have a great and profitable day.